Fuck, I look fresh today. I'm having a fresh day. Um, my head doesn't look like a ping pong ball. Okay, so we're talking about clown syndrome today and the fact we still have telephone lines. Um, they create a static charge. When you hear them crackling on a cloudy day, if you were to walk underneath it and touch the back of your wrist to the back of somebody else's wrist, you're going to feel yourself tethered to the person like glue. You'll be stuck to them if you're grounded. And if you pull away too fast, you'll create a spark or static charge. Um, it's a binding thing. If you're full of blood, you may break a blood vessel pulling away. Um, when the government, based on the rate of extraction of a shitty process that should have never been done in the first place, um, because everything is only about the money with them. We can look at Bikini Beach again. On Burnaby Island, they cut down the telephone wires. And because they're heavy, they just left them there. Um, and the metal is worth about $300 for a couple feet of it. But it wasn't worth the labor to retrieve it. So if you were, they like to prefer to call us the bottom of the pyramid. The bottom of the pyramid people would climb up the mountain, get some exercise, and retrieve the metal. And make fucking large money. For free. And it wasn't a fenced in place. But they'll say that's crown land because they own the mountains. Um, so they leave the tower standing. So my thought would be, it'd be like this, Miko. And I'll be like, yeah, bro. And I'll be like, what's up, bro? And I'll be like, just chilling, drinking a coffee with my bros. So each tower, like that of a castle wall, a pillar, when you think about what we could do with that, how much fun could we have on one pillar? A kid loves a fucking tree fort. Um, can we make a zip line? Sorry, piss test guy there. Could we make a zip line? Can we make like a hand crank one to see a fitness one? Can we make one with a little crazy cart? Like a mousetrap cart or something. Zipping from one to one. Or maybe skip one and go down like a big half pole, half pipe. Boom, and then back up. Maybe we'll make a little bridge that wobbles to and fro. So each one would have a different station. Maybe we can put a gondola on it. Or something to feed or seed. Like they feed a pig farmers would rip a, they would, if you fold the bag in half full of product, you fold it in half and you put a little cut in it, it would evenly spray, um, like that of a mechanical hopper. Or we can use a grass seed spreader and shoot it out with an oscillation force. I love that. So if we have trees on the top of the mountain that are very small trees, and their whole life they move 100 times slower than a sloth, and they have to survive by killing itself to be able to snail on its own hide at the rate of consuming itself before it goes punky, before it can mushroom, or before it rots. It can't really eat the rot. It eats the sediment underneath the rot. The top rod isn't fertile, maybe for moss, but I don't even think moss grows over top of it. So my thought is if that little tree will literally kill itself in order to eat off itself to make it the next, to make it one more length. It'll have to kill itself 3 times to climb up a rock. Because there's no nutrition, so it just keeps eating itself. Every time losing a little bit of integrity and a whole lot of size. That tree is slowly getting genetically smaller every time it climbs a rock. Why does it want to get to the top of the mountain? We're the king of the castle, you're the dirty rascal. So how smart is a tree? It's smart enough to get up there and risk its impotence for importance. What does that mean? It'll go up there and use the force of the wind to pollinate the whole valley. Every pollen will get used and not fall to the mushroom kingdom. It doesn't pollinate anything once it's hitting the rotten floor of the jungle, of the forest. So it would go to the top of the mountain.
Nico,
Yeah.
I have some mini pie plates for you from Positive Haven.
Oh, cool, thank you.
They're downstairs on the table.
And the pollen balloons just like that of a spider, or a mushroom. In order to breed and grow the biggest trees at the bottom of the valley, the giant ones, so that again they can. My thought is, what if we took a giant, its baby, and brought it to the top of the mountain? Gave it a spot that had the resources it needs to actually create shade on the top of a mountain. How far would that pollen go? If that, by the time it climbs the mountain, it's only growing needles on one side. You can only pollen a little bit. So if we did that on all the mountains, the top being the smallest, what would that do for all of our friends? When it comes to a pine mushroom is a mushroom that tastes like pine needles. It only grows after a forest fire, the best. And it's a huge Bulbasaur fucking mushroom. It's not mold, it's a huge mushroom. And it can't be recreated. Not in synthetic environments. It's a failure. When it comes to the most expensive sometimes being the best, so a tree can't move very well if it's shrouded with mushrooms, because mushrooms have to literally deteriorate the composition for it to break down in order for it to feed enough to be able to go over rocks. So what I would do is I would simply rake the floor. The tree survival and proper nutrition is that of its entrail. Fumigated. Help Mother Nature out a little bit by burning its waste. It's got no chlorophyll left. It needs to be burnt. Mother Nature's working, but at the time and rate that it needs to reproduce, we could help it out quite a bit by simply transplanting a few big ones, letting them plant themselves better with the most ancient one. I would just like to rake the floor to the point of hitting dirt where the roots are actually embedded and burning and creating a mushroom-based land for them by spreading the composite. There's no reason for the whole tree to have to die. We just need the cinder So you can continue to kill animals because you like the taste of blood. It gives you a temper too. Or you can let the animal stay alive, and just like a human, you can give a blood sample. This is where you question why you eat blood. Because if you had to go and give a pig a needle and suck the blood out of a pig to flavor your Beyond Meat, because you need that flavor of rendered fat, you can literally give it liposuction or a take some blood out, which it can recoup without killing its body. You could give it a second lease of life. So now you're doing something good for that pig. And you're eating it. You're eating it alive. Kind of disturbing. But I bet you think it tastes good. And you wouldn't have to murk everything. They could be grain fed for their entire lives. Did you know a cow at full side fed hormones and a steroid called acetate is the ones, or trend, is a steroid that cuts your meat you use for shredding. You have a bulking steroid like an HGH or a Anabar or something, and then you've got one to make your muscles really defined. So they feed that to all the cows. Right before they get slaughtered, they gave it acetate. It's a paint tone. It's like a paint thinner. It renders fat. Melts it away. So why just melt it when you could just liposuction it and eat it? I don't even eat canola flowers, but you're way different than me. We're just a different species. I'm humble and you're just fucked. But that's okay. I would like to take a minute to talk to you about the ek, or ak, species. They have the nose of a mosquito, but the head of a crocodile. So a mosquito will fly around aimlessly looking for scent of body odor, with bulged out eyes and kind of flying blind, just only with scent. An act is that of a good act. Bravo. Because not only can it smell your fucking stink and how much fat you've rendered, because you smell fucking disgusting, and I wouldn't touch you with somebody else's. Anyways, but it's got the intellectual capabilities to analytically analyze you with then you have your thought process. You're always over analyzing. But if you look at that of a alligator eye, it's not over analyzing. It's just scanning very slowly. It's processing as it goes, and it knows who the bad guy is. So if you were to wing an alligator and give it a mosquito nose, and it came to fix the planet, make the planet a better place, it would not only be an amazing thing, the most beautiful creature that God ever created, but it would just kind of know you. And you would barely feel it, but it would know you, who you are, the good, bad, and ugly, instantly. Through watching your behaviors, how disgusting they are, and also testing the food that you're actually eating, based off of how disgusting you are. But so what the act would like to do is take the crown, we'll call it the royal crown, and bust it on the fucking ground, and then take that shitty building that only one family is allowed in, that's as big as a city, and break that to the ground and hollow out the ground in the same division that the top is. I bet you that if you hollowed that whole building out, the underground system would travel the entire planet. You could pretty much, I bet you, go through underground caves and go everywhere. So I would, the act after biting me, which I'd voluntarily say, please, know me. I'm your henchman. It would know that I would want to take away that filthy kingdom and create a spot where religion isn't allowed in, culture isn't allowed in, unless it's universal oneness. What does that mean? It means if you're going to come into this free land of food, prosperity, and integrity to enjoy the fundamentals of all nature without a biased opinion, you're going to come in as a theme. Every day theme will be more entertaining than the last day. It'll be like cosplay. You will be assigned something to wear that will create a happy movement in somebody else. You might not even know who. Like you might just, hypothetically speaking, you might be dressed up as Raggedy Ann, but not understand why and be embarrassed about it. But then you might go in there, they'll just know that you're single, and you'll find the most banging Popsicle Pete fucking husband or wife dressed up in the same costume. Now you've instantly got grounds to communicate with. Like, you guys came paired. It's selfie fucking time. Go get a picture. There's your soulmate right there. This is like advents and adventures, but you're not going to pay for it. And everything in there is free. There's no garbage on this land either. All food services have a water station, probably with fish in it. So you just dip your hands in it and away you go. They just air dry. But when you're fed a veggie dog or something, you don't get a napkin. It gets put in your hand. Or everything's always fresh. The bread's always fresh. Bacon powder biscuits all day. And there's no garbage. Styrofoam doesn't exist. Boxes don't exist. None of this shit exists. It doesn't exist here. And it'll just slowly start resourcing, because whenever you leave this place, you're not leaving it empty-handed. You're taking home as much shit as you can carry every day. At the end of the day, there's always an abundance. It goes to feed the animals, and you are a fucking animal, so you're allowed to take as much home with you, and you'll probably want to stop by here every day. Your means to carry will be your ability to bring friends and family members or loved ones with you. How much can you carry? What do you do with your abundance? We don't have garbage cans in the city anymore. They're gone. They don't exist. If you can't throw it outside for a bird to go, then you're not allowed in there. I don't care if your religion is any religion that has special wear or a special sword. You're just not allowed to enter unless you play a part of oneness religion. You can still practice your religion at your house or wherever you're outside, when you're outside of the gates. But if you want to join a free kingdom where everything is free and be connected to all the fucking shitty sewers that are down there that are for the military, and help us go and start rolling over their airplanes onto their backs, there will be no more rubber. Either we'll stop rubber. It won't happen anymore. No styrofoam. No nothing. We'll be using cause and effects of gravity and destruction ways of our past to create a better new. So, I was talking to the bad guys today. I know, right? They called me. They threatened me. But we culturally made a decision. You are so much bigger and powerfuler than us. We're going to challenge you to a game of slap yourself in the face, like this. I'm not as strong as you, so you'll probably beat me. But I don't know. We're going to go with closed fists, and we're going to have it as a championship because you like violence so much. So, the winner will go to sudden death. And now you're not practicing hitting yourself as hard as you can, but to hit each other. You will win all the rest of the money in the world. All of it. And you will be labeled a hero. For forever. Everybody needs a warrior in their life. Right, Joe Rogan? Anyways, that's food for thought. And that was the wake up thought. Catch you on the flyby.